Hi, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Ask a Bruja. I'm Katrina Raspel, the Gringa Bruja. Today, we're going to talk about a very important issue that honestly compromises around 95, 96% of the magic that I do for other people on my own altar, and that is the question of love and love issues. People ask me all the time, can I draw love into my life using magic? Can I win back my ex using magic? Can I break up another couple, particularly one that my ex is involved with, using magic? How can I influence love relationships with magic? And we're going to answer some of those questions, talk about some of the modalities for addressing those issues in this edition of Ask a Bruja. So when people come to me and say, can I use magic to get my ex back? Or can I use magic to make a particular person love me? The question that comes into play is, should you, not could you? Now, a part of that has to do with the ethical construct in which you choose to work. If you are Wiccan, and I was for over 20 years, um, you're going to have a moratorium against doing any type of work that interferes with the free will of another person. Wiccan constructs do not allow for the compelling of other people or the forcing of other people to do things against their free will. Wicca is fairly isolated in that respect when compared to other magical paths. For instance, I practice brujeria and hoodoo slash root working now, and they do not carry those resistances to the idea of compelling other people or forcing other people to do things that they may not necessarily want to do. Now, that's one thing, the ethical aspect of it. I would like to address the practical aspect of that because my practice is very practical. I like to do things that work, and I like to do things that are going to render a result that leaves the client happy, and in my own life, when I'm doing my own magic, leaves me happy and leaves me satisfied. Here's what's up. Yes, you can compel someone to love you or to feel things for you or to enter into a relationship with you. You can compel people to break up a relationship that they are in currently. However, here's the real story on that. Number one, if you do this, it takes a huge, huge amount of work, of energy invested into the spell work to force someone to do something that, on the surface at least, they do not want to do. And not only is it going to take a lot of work to make that happen, you're going to have to sustain that. Or you're going to have to create a set of circumstances while the spell is still underway to carry that forward. Otherwise, you're going to be feeding this spell constantly. There are not humans really who are set up to invest that much energy into spell work and continue to thrive. And I have actually seen witches and other practitioners who do this, and their physical health starts to become compromised because of the amount of energy that they're constantly investing into keeping this spell alive that is compelling this person to be with them. The other side of it is, honest to God, people think about this. Do you want to be with someone that you have to force into being with you? And then the question becomes, why are they with you? Are they with you because of your worth? Are they with you because of the love they have for you? Are they with you because of the value that you hold to them? Or are they with you because you're investing a buttload of energy into a spell to keep them there and to bind them there? And my thought on this is, if you would not handcuff a person to a chair and restrain them in the house with you to be with you, why would you do this magically? John Beckett, one of my favorite authors and bloggers, says, don't do anything magically to a person that you wouldn't do to them mundanely. So if you would not physically restrain a person to be with you magically, or excuse me, mundanely, don't do it magically. This insults you and it insults your value into the world. Unfortunately and sadly, what happens is that people get seriously invested into past relationships and don't move forward into what they actually deserve or what would be good for them. So, will I do this type of magic if somebody really wants it? Sure, I'll give it a shot. But I tell them straight out that we're working against the free will of another person, and in the end, that's probably going to win out. Now, a better way to do that is if there's a chance this person actually does have feelings for you and other things are covering up, like they have friends that think that you should not be together, or family that's influencing them and telling them that you shouldn't be together, or circumstances have just conspired to break you up that don't have to do with the person's feelings or their love for you or their want to be with you. If that's the case, we can do magic to blow open the obstacles and open up the pathways to you being together, and we can fan the flames and encourage their desire to be with you so that that happens. So basically, in order to have a successful love spell that doesn't have to be constantly infused like an IV, fed and fed and fed, we need to have some coal, some ember of love and desire to be with that person, with both parties, that we can fan and flame into a bigger fire so that they do want to be there. So we want to uncover something that's already there rather than have to create it from scratch. So let's look at a scenario. Let's say that you cheated on your husband. Your husband left you. Your husband hooked up with somebody else and is really just done with the fact that you cheated on them. It's a no uh, brain stop. Come on, think. It's a deal breaker. And so they're not going to go back to you because they now cannot trust you because you cheated on them. So this person feels really guilty for cheating on their husband. They want their husband back because they really do love their husband and just had a moment of crazy. So what would I do in that situation? I would advise that client, look, your husband's happy, your husband's with another person. Can we do magic to break up this couple? Sure, we can, but do you really want him to be unhappy? Can you compel this person to come back with you? Sure, you can do that, but the bottom line is they're not going to trust you. They're not going to want to be with you, and you're going to have to constantly feed that. So, can you do it? Yeah, sure. Should you do it? Whole other issue. The whole picture has to be evaluated. There are a lot of ways that you can work with love and bring love into your life. Do you personally deserve to have love in your life? Absolutely. If you really want someone to love you, what I recommend when someone comes to me giving the idea to me that, oh, I just want to be with this person, I want to be with that person, I asked them to really evaluate the relationship. Was it really that good, or were there problems within the relationship? Usually with people, when people break up, it's because of problems. So when they come to me with that idea, what I say is, let's create the relationship that you want to have, whether it's with this person or somebody else. Let's bring you the love that you deserve. Let's bring you the love that you want. Make a list of the qualities you want in a partner, exactly what that is, and let's work from there. Then, if it is this person that you want to be with, they can step up and move right into that. As you begin to do love magic, to draw love into your life, you are going to become more attractive. There's going to be this moth to flame thing, and you're going to draw people in. And it could be that it would also work on your previous partner if that's what's meant to be. Now, there's another consideration to think about. A lot of people don't get that love magic will sometimes be blocked if it is not in your best interest to be with that person. The universe has kind of a stopgap operation, so that if it's going to derail your manifest destiny, if it's not going to be in your best interest to be with your ex-partner or to be with a particular person that you want to compel to love you, the energy is going to ground. You're not going to be able to effectively do it. There are some immutable points where no, you are not meant to be with this person and it's not going to happen. And like I used to tell my daughter when she was little, sometimes the answer is just no. So we have to accept that and move on, but open ourselves up for a good and healthy and viable relationship. So here are some ways that we can do that. Number one of the best ways is to use a honey jar. Now, this is a honey jar, a honey pot, and this is one that I did for a client. And what we would do for this is we put things into the jar that represent the two people who the client wants to draw together. This sweetens a relationship. Now, this doesn't have to be a love interest. This can be sweetening the relationship between a boss and an employee. This could be sweetening a family relationship. It could be sweetening the relationship between two friends, or it can be sweetening the relationship to lovers or potential lovers. And what you would do is you would put matching ingredients in here for each person. So if you're using the fingernails of one person, use the fingernails of the other person. If you're using the written name of one person, use the written name of the other person. You photograph of one person, photograph of the other person. It always has to be balanced with exactly the same materials. We do that. I often write a spell in here using the name of the person. One person this way, one person this way. If they have the same letter in their name, I will cause those letters to match up like this, and then I will write out from the letters affirmations like contact her, call her, love him, be with him, open to him, different positive affirmations to sweeten the relationship between those people. After you've put your representations of each person in there, you then absolutely flood it with honey. Honey is a natural sweetener, and I'm going to tell you, it's not really critical that it be the finest honey that there is. You can use any level of honey, it's all perfectly sweet. I then also put something in here like Come to Me oil or Tuberosa oil or some other type of attraction oil to magnetize that person. You're then going to seal it up, and then I just shake it like mad to absolutely cover everything in here. And then I burn a candle on top. Now, in regard to your burning of candles, either on a honey pot or in candle magic for love, two things to consider in regard to color. If you want to draw in a very sweet and precious and loving and adorable relationship, use pink. For that, you're going to use a very innocent type of love color, and that's the color of pink. If you want something really lusty and randy and sensual and passionate, use red. You can use white to substitute for any of those colors, but personally I prefer to use the pink or the red. And then you're going to light the bottom of the candle, and the way that I do this is I use a knife to trim off the bottom of the candle and light the wick that's in there. Then I drip it, blah, 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 onto the top of the lid until I've got a good pool of wax there, and then bam, you stand it up in there, wait a few seconds for it to hold, and then step back. Test it a little bit to make sure it's not going to fall over. Then you light the top, and that is going to burn all the way down. Now, what you can also do is carve the names of the people into the candle. Anoint the candle with Come to Me oil, Tuberosa oil, Love Honey oil, Follow Me Girl, Follow Me Boy oil, any of the oils meant to draw in a person that is of the type that you want. And then you let that sucker burn down. You're then going to read the burn after the complete burn has taken place and the candle has gone out organically. So you're going to do it kind of like tea leaves. You're going to look at the burn and see what it looks like to you. Now, when I looked at this, the first thing I noticed is that there was a crease right here. That told me, and this was somebody who had broken up with the person and was completely resistant to a reunion. It was just like a no deal. It wasn't going to happen. And that told me that there was some egress in there. There was some path to take to get the energy to reach this person. Also, when I looked at this, and a little bit of the wax has come off since I first read it, when I looked at this, it looked like the chambers of the human heart to me. So this told me that there was room in this person's heart for my client. Also, I had a picture of the person under the pot as well as inside the pot. And when the wax came down the side, it went onto the person's photograph rather than onto the other side where it wasn't. And that told me that the magic had actually reached the person. So really look at objectively what's happening within the honey pot as it burns. And then you're going to dispose, which I will do after I've made this video, of the honey pot in a magically responsible way. Don't ever forget your magical hazmat there. So that's how you would do a honey pot to draw somebody in or to sweeten a relationship that's existing between two people. Primarily, the honey pot is used between people who have an existing relationship. You're usually not going to use the honey pot if you don't have some type of connection with that person, even just on an acquaintance level. Now, if you're just looking to draw in general love, you would just use a freestanding prayer candle or a taper dedicated to that purpose. Now, let's say that you want to break up a couple because you feel like that there's someone who is in the way of your relationship, or you feel like that this person, for whatever reason, is not in a healthy relationship. You can use the same premise exactly, but use a vinegar pot, which is what this is. A vinegar pot is going to sour the relationship between two people. Or let's say that you want to break up with your husband and he just refuses to sign the divorce papers or whatever that might be. Do the same thing using equal materials within the pot, but you're going to fill it with vinegar instead of honey. And I also put some gopher dust or banishing oil in there as well. Burn the candle on the top. I use red, not necessarily for the passion, but to expedite, and then read the dripping of the wax and what happens with the burn. So those are some ideas right there for how to draw in draw in a relationship or sour a relationship. You can use other things like this. This is a chuparosa bath. Chuparosa magic within brujeria or the Mexican magic is love magic for a woman to draw in a man. The chuparosa is the hummingbird. Their hearts beat very fast. They mate for life. Um, they are drawn to the sweetness of life, and so they're a nice representation of a sweet and wonderful kind of love. The love honey candles are used for mostly for men who are desiring love, either from other men or from women, although they can be used for ladies as well. Products such as Follow Me Boy, Follow Me Girl, Come to Me oil, Magnetism or Attraction oil, Bewitching oil, all of those are quite good to draw someone to you. Now, there's a new fad that works out great in the use of your oils, and that's something called a diffuser locket. If you haven't heard of these, look it up on Google. We sell them in our shop, and it's a locket that is about that big, that size of anywhere from a quarter to a $1/2, opens up, and you put a piece of felt inside there that you drop your oil onto. Close up the locket and wear it. So you've got the aromatherapy and your spell work going on all through the day. You can also put fingernails or hair or things like that within the locket to help draw that love into you. The Chuparosa bath that I mentioned, you use like a tea bag and you put it into your bath, let it steep for a little bit, then you get in there and soak, and that surrounds you with the love energy. We have another one called the Ooh La La bath that is for a steamier kind of love, to draw that in or to encourage that. So bath magic, great for drawing in love. Oil magic, great for drawing in love. There are incenses that can draw in love. Basically, you want to surround yourself with anything that will pull that love energy into you and wake up the receptors within you to receive that love and recognize that love when it comes. So those are some ways to cultivate love. Another thing you can do is to make a love bottle. This is mine right here. Shh. I've used this to sweeten my marriage for 20 years almost. Whenever my husband and I are having challenges, I just shake the bottle, put it in front of my Santa Muerte statue and say, lady, have at it. And it tends to make us able to communicate better and relate to one another a little bit better. And within here, not only is there lots of rose water and other love inducing items, but also fragments of our hair, fragments of our fingernails, all of the oils that I mentioned, and just different mediating products that create a reaction within us. And when I shake it up, it reactivates, and I just only use it sparingly when I absolutely need to. This is actually glued shut on a lot of my witches bottles and honey pots and things like that. I will put some E6000 around the edges before I close it so that it won't open accidentally. So again, those are some ways to do love magic, but anytime that you are looking to manipulate another person in a love situation, really consider whether that's what you deserve. Because again, you're never going to know why they're there. Are they there because they really love you, or because you did some spell work and you keep feeding it? You deserve somebody who's there because of you. I hope this helps, and that's our class on love magic from Ask a Bruja.